Mel Robbins spent years teaching people how to start. Start your morning, start your goals, start your life. But when she sat down to plan her own year, she realized the real problem isn't starting. It's everything you refuse to stop. This week, I watched Mel Robbins break down her year-end planning ritual. And before we go any further, I'm not here to help you make a vision board. I'm not here to tell you to dream bigger. And I'm definitely not here to sell you hope. What Mel said in this episode isn't motivational, it's uncomfortable. Because the reason most people fail at their goals has nothing to do with motivation. It has to do with the fact that they keep adding without subtracting. More goals, more habits, more commitments, piled on top of the same broken patterns. And the next 5 lessons will show you why winners quit and what you need to stop before you start anything new. Lesson 1. You can't create directions without a starting point. Mel said something that sounds obvious, but nobody does. You can't create directions for where you want to go unless you know where you're starting from. It's mathematically impossible. Think about it. You open Google Maps, you type the destination, but if the GPS doesn't know your current location, you get nothing. No route, no steps, no guidance. That's how most people plan their year. They write down where they want to be, lose 20 pounds, make more money, find a relationship, but they never stop to look at where they actually are. And then they wonder why the plan doesn't work. The action is simple. Before you set a single goal, answer one question. Where am I starting from? Not where you wish you were, where you actually are. Write it down. Be brutally honest. If you can't face the starting point, you don't deserve the destination.
Consider this. You can't create directions for where you want to go unless you know where you're starting from. In fact, it's mathematically impossible to create directions unless you know the starting point and then where you want to go from there. And you also cannot create a plan for where you want to go next year that's going to work until you fully understand exactly where you're starting from right now.
Lesson 2. Ignoring what went wrong doesn't free you. It drags you. Most people think if they just ignore the hard stuff and focus on new goals, they'll move forward. Mel brought up research from Ethan Kross, a psychology professor at University of Michigan. What he found is the opposite of what people expect. When you avoid processing the hard parts of your year, the failures, the losses, the stuff that broke you, you don't create distance, you drag it with you, subconsciously, into every new goal, into every new relationship, into every new attempt. But when you actually sit down and write what went wrong, you create psychological distance. You untangle the loops running in the background. You stop letting the past sabotage the future. The action is uncomfortable. Write down what broke you this year, not to dwell on it, to release it. One page. What drained you? What knocked you down? What you're still carrying. If you skip this step, you'll spend next year running from the same ghosts.
There's also really cool insights from Ethan Kross, who's a psychology professor at the University of Michigan, who appeared on this podcast. And Professor Kross says that taking the time to do an exercise like this, you know what it does? It also puts distance between you and your negative thoughts about it. Isn't that kind of cool? Because we kind of think it's the opposite. If we just ignore it and we try to move on and set new goals, that somehow we're distancing ourselves, it's the opposite. You subconsciously drag it with you. Acknowledging it, it's a way to untangle the loops that are running in your subconscious, that are pulling you down, and create distance from those things that happen, so that we can get into an intentional mindset that's going to give you clarity, and that's going to help you make better decisions, and that's going to help you focus on what's ahead instead of trying to outrun what was behind. Don't you think this is so cool? I love this stuff. I absolutely love this stuff.
Lesson 3. Your experiences are data, not memories. This one hit me. Mel said the highs and lows of your year aren't just memories, they're data. Data about what works for you, what drains you, what lights you up, what you need more of, what you should never do again. But most people treat their year like a blur. They remember feelings, not facts. They say it was a hard year without knowing specifically what made it hard. They say it was a good year without knowing what actually made it good. And when you don't have data, you can't make decisions. You're just guessing. The action is clinical. Go through your photos. Go through your calendar, month by month. Extract the facts. When did you feel energized? When did you feel drained? What were you doing in both cases? Don't trust your memory. Your memory lies. Look at the evidence.
See, the highlights and the hard parts, the highs and the lows, they're not just memories, they're data. Those experiences are telling you something about what you like, about what you don't like, about what you need more of, what you never want to go through again. And so just sit with this for a bit. And for me, when I look at question number 3, given everything that happened this year, what did I learn about myself? What I learned about myself is, number 1, I love spending time with you.
Lesson 4. Winners quit. Here's the part that goes against everything you've been taught. Mel quoted Cal Newport, professor at Georgetown. He said, real productivity isn't about doing more. It's about focusing on what really matters. Subtraction before addition. And then Mel dropped this. Winners quit. They quit habits. They quit patterns. They quit expectations. They quit jobs. They quit relationships. They quit projects. They quit obligations. They quit all the time because they quit the things that keep them frustrated, exhausted, and distracted so they can actually move forward. The world tells you to add more goals, more hustle, more commitment. But the path to a better year isn't piling more on your plate. It's clearing the plate first. The action is brutal. Write down one thing you're going to stop doing. Not reduce, stop completely. The thing you've been tolerating, the excuse you keep making, the pattern that's been draining you for years. Write it down. That's your real goal for next year.
Winners quit the habits, they quit patterns, they quit expectations, they quit jobs, they quit relationships, they quit projects, they quit obligations, they quit customers, they quit career paths that drain them. They quit all the time because they quit the things that keep them frustrated, exhausted, distracted, so they can actually move forward. One of our guests this year on the Mel Robbins podcast, Georgetown University professor Cal Newport, who's an expert on time and productivity, said something that really struck me. Real productivity isn't about doing more. It's about focusing on what really matters. Subtraction before addition. Subtraction because it creates room for what matters.
Lesson 5. Connect to your future self or stay stuck. This one is backed by research from UCLA and Cal State. They found that when you spend even a few minutes writing to your future self, connecting who you've been, who you are now, and who you want to become, something changes in your brain. You feel more bonded to that future version of you. And when you feel connected to your future self, you make better decisions. You exercise more. You procrastinate less. You treat yourself like someone worth investing in. But most people don't feel connected to their future self. The person they'll be in 1 year feels like a stranger, so they make decisions that hurt that stranger. They eat like crap, they skip the workout, they stay in the job they hate because it's not their problem, it's future them's problem. The action is simple, but most people won't do it. Write a short letter to yourself 1 year from now. What do you want to tell that person? What do you hope they've accomplished? What do you hope they've stopped doing? This isn't journaling for fun. It's programming your brain to care about your own future.
When you spend even a few minutes connecting the dots between who you've been, who you are right now, and who you want to become in the future, research shows that you feel even more closely bonded to the future version of you. Isn't that kind of cool? That just taking the time right now with me, or if you're going to do this whole process after you listen and watch once through, and then you're going to go and do it with people that you care about, simply taking the time to look at the last 12 months, to think about the future, to write all this stuff down, you're going to feel more strongly connected to the version of you that you see in the future. In this study, the people who took the time to connect the dots between who I have been and who I really want to become, they exercise more. They were more intentional about how they went through their day-to-day life. Just a tiny writing exercise changed real-world behavior.
All right, let's talk about how Mel Robbins became Mel Robbins. Because the woman teaching millions how to take control of their lives couldn't get out of bed. At 41, she was a mess. Marriage falling apart, serious money problems, career in ruins, drinking too much. Every morning she'd hit snooze over and over because the anxiety and shame were so heavy she couldn't face the day. Her kids were missing the school bus because she couldn't get up to wake them. Then one night, she's lying on the couch watching TV. A commercial comes on. There's a rocket launching. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. And she has what she later called a stupid idea. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to launch myself out of bed like a rocket. I'll move so fast that the anxiety won't have time to pin me down. Next morning, alarm goes off. Instead of hitting snooze, she counts backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she stands up. That's it. That became the 5-second rule. A TED Talk with over 30 million views, a best-selling book, a career as one of the highest-paid speakers in the world. All because a broke, anxious 41-year-old woman saw a rocket on TV and decided to pretend she was a spaceship. She didn't have a plan, she didn't have motivation, she had a countdown and the willingness to stop lying to herself. That's Mel Robbins. You don't need more goals. You don't need a fresh start. You don't need motivation. You need to stop. Stop adding without subtracting. Stop planning without knowing where you are. Stop ignoring what broke you. Stop treating your future self like a stranger. 1 year from now, you'll either have quit the things that were holding you back, or you'll be making the same list again. Winners quit. The question is, what are you finally going to stop? Subscribe if you're done adding to a broken system. Comment below one thing you're going to quit this year. If you can't think of one, that's the problem. Check the description for the original episode.